Yo, what up, everybody? It's your boy. I'm back with episode 14. It's this many. And look, I have I have friends with me, and I love these guys a lot. These are really good friends of mine. And you guys have met David before. You guys have met before, but now this time we're joined by Tim and Tony. So if you guys want to, tell a little bit about yourselves or whatever, we can jump right into it.
Ladies first. Go ahead, Tim.
Oh.
Go
Well,
ahead and talk to us about that guy in the background.
my name is Tim. This dude is my twin brother. His name is also Tim. Hold on.
No, you got to keep it. You got to keep it. You got to keep it.
All right. What's up? Well, y'all know me. I mean, my name's Tim. I just live in Houston, do music, work retail. So just a good friend of the boys on here.
What's your Instagram handle for your music?
Tim Qualls Music. Yeah.
Intricate. I like it.
Yeah. Deep.
Nice.
Deep.
Tony, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I live in Phoenix, Arizona, and Scottsdale.
Okay, that's enough. Let's go ahead and jump right into
It's a good one. All right. All right. I was ready to give you my.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, shit. I'm mad now. Call you guys.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Nah, man. Real Rivera, RealRivera. Holler at me. Yeah, I'm in Scottsdale. I've known these guys forever. It's about to be a good time. Look at Tim.
Bet. All right. I don't know if Matt and David feel like they need to do a intro. Matt is a regular here, so I think everybody kind of knows him. And nobody really cares about David. So we can just jump right into it. So what I want to talk about first is Kanye running for president, or saying that he's running for president. But more importantly to me, the thing that pisses me off is the amount of people who are upset with him because he is talking shit about running for president. I don't think it makes any sense. I don't know why people are mad at him. And I don't think white people were mad at Trump when he decided to run for president. So I don't know why black people are mad at Kanye. I'm not going to vote for him, but I don't get the anger about it. You guys voting for Kanye or what?
It depends on if there's going to be some kind of stimulus that involves Yeezys. I've thought long and hard about it. So, like, if
I did not think about that.
Man, listen,
Or a couple of Gap shirts. Don't forget about the Gap shirts.
But listen. So, people didn't complain about the Trump money. If he throws some 350s, some 700s, I don't know. That could be tempting. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yo,
so,
what if the military got the Yeezy boots to wear?
We would definitely.
What if he started designing the clothes for Space Force?
Oh man,
who better?
That's true.
And
There's
Elon,
nobody better.
Elon is on his back too. Like
you see what's happening here.
Yeah.
We've already linked it all together.
That's right.
It's the final frontier, man.
That's right.
That's all we know.
When we meet the aliens, we need to be drippy. So I understand.
Live long and prosper.
That's right.
That's right.
Anyway,
but no, all jokes aside, how are you guys feeling about that?
Well, I personally agree with you. Like I saw it and I just felt it was typical Kanye. Like Kanye, he says things that in the moment are going to seem super ridiculous, and maybe in 8 years might be like, I don't think he'd be the right person necessarily for the job. I mean, for obvious maybe stability reasons, but he's always shot for the stars. So it doesn't shock me that he would say this, and he said it. What did we like 5 years ago, right?
Yeah.
He's already said it once, so him saying it doesn't make me angry. Deep down, I was like, because I've been. I'm always hoping good for him, because he's still breaking down boundaries in the fashion world and as a businessman too. And he's been on like an 8-month stretch of not saying anything super crazy. So that's the only thing I was like, dang. But
what else?
I kind of think it's a marketing. I think it's a marketing thing, man. He just that's something to do with the Gap. I mean, I don't care what anybody says. He stays in and out of relevancy throughout pop culture.
Mm-hmm.
what better time than he knows that everybody's isn't into the president right now. So it just, I don't know. For me, it just makes sense why he would say it right now. It is not out of character. Would I
Yeah.
vote
Yeah,
for him? Probably not. Throw a couple of
I
Yeezys in there? Maybe. Maybe.
what was the shirt, David? Jesus
Oh,
take the wheel.
Yeezus take the wheel 20. What would it be? 2020?
yeah.
Yeezus
2020.
take the wheel
2020.
2020. Let's
You know,
go.
I'd definitely wear the shirt though.
I at least
That's
wear the
for
shirt.
sure.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
I
I would
I
wear
think
that
it.
shirt also.
I mean, I agree with y'all. I just think it's probably good marketing. I think he's a guy that just speaks what's on his heart and on his mind.
Mhm.
You can only words on Twitter are one thing, action is another. He hasn't even really done all the
He-
real paperwork to actually run for it.
That's right.
I do think it'll be influential in the sense that we're in a culture that people, they either don't care, or they're super passionate, or they're fed up. So him doing it and him being the polarizing figure that he is, and being so, I mean, he's like ultra famous.
Mhm.
Regardless if he even actually, I think he has to follow with the, is it the FDC? I don't know what it is. Um,
And
People
that
are
can
going to
happen
write it.
overnight, man. That can
Sure. I,
happen
I don't
overnight.
I don't know I don't know the logistics or any of that stuff, but if there's a deadline or whatever, but people are going to write his name in anyways, just
Yeah,
for fun.
and I think the people that I've seen that have been upset they're thinking that people will write his name in, which would then take a vote away from. I'm guessing these people are wanting Biden to
Right.
win over Trump. So I think they're thinking, well, if you write his name in, you're kind of wasting your vote, and we might end up with Trump for another 4 years. And I think that's a real concern.
Mhm.
But and I get the anger about that, but I don't understand the anger towards him. This
Yeah.
is what he does. And to Tony's
Well,
point, like he did just announce that deal with Gap. Also, I think the day or the next day that he announced that deal with Gap, Gap stock rose crazy.
mhm.
So now he's doing this just to stay relevant, like Tony was talking about. So I think a lot of his stuff that he says is super controversial is timed in a certain way so he can be um, relevant at the time, just like Tony says. So I think
I,
that was perfect.
there are a selection of people out there that are to go back to your point, that are angry because I mean, we still have a lot of serious things going on,
Mm-hmm.
so they could see it as he's taking himself serious. Everything he says, he's taking himself 100% serious. But other people can think like, this is not the time for you to try to be drawing attention to yourself,
True.
or to be joking or doing some kind of marketing ploy. So I
True.
think that's where some people's anger comes out of too. So, but
The people that I've seen be angry about it online are definitely the ones that are worried about it taking away from Biden's group of voters, or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, 'cause this is
Me personally, I think with how crazy everything has been. I mean, why not? It's Kanye running for president theoretically is just as crazy as Donald Trump running for president 4 years
Absolutely.
ago. There's
Absolutely.
literally no difference. They're two just famous guys that are super rich that can
Yep.
just do things like this. So it doesn't really matter. That's what's crazy about America, but also really cool about America is anybody could really do it too. You can look
Anybody
at
with
it
a
both
certain
ways.
number in their bank account can do it.
That's fair. That's fair.
mhm.
I think to Tim's point, man, the blueprint is out there and it's tested and proven. You saw Trump a couple years back; he did it. The first thing he said was what he's saying about immigrants and all that stuff. So if you can go in there with a heavy hand and make something happen and become president here, Kanye isn't as, in my opinion, he's not as aggressive, or as polarizing in that manner as Trump is.
Yeah.
So for him, you easily got the youth, funny kids that don't even really know who he is, but just know him for his shoes and stuff. Oh, I'm gonna just vote for him. I'm 18. I got plenty more years to vote, so why not?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like I said, I think the blueprint's out there, and he got more. He got money, influence. Honestly, like, hold on. You guys heard about like the theories around why he would be running for president? Because last I heard, he was like supposed to be Republican or something, right?
Oh no.
There's a
I
lot
don't know.
online
I don't know.
about him, quote unquote, still being a shill for Trump, and this is a
Yeah.
ploy
Mm.
for all of that. Actually, I was just on Reddit, and one of my favorite subs is Change My View, and this guy posted, and it's got couple thousand different upvotes and responses. And basically the way that it works is I post something like, let's say, controversial, right? But I encourage people to change my mind and provide other facts and stuff. And then basically I will award the top comments that like maybe made me sway my opinion so that they're posted so that other people can see them. And literally someone posted just the other day, like about, I think Kanye is running for this. Like, this is a ridiculous idea. He's an egomaniac that's only doing this for a publicity stunt, and he's taking away from like a crucial election. Basically what we're talking about right now. And there are tons of comments about like, well, maybe not. Here's some other things to consider and all that fun stuff. But I mean, at the end of the day, I think we're all hitting the nail on the head. I do truly believe Kanye thinks he is the solution to America. I really do. I do think his ego is is large enough to believe that he is the savior of this nation. And I think that is incredibly detrimental to what's going on right now with the election.
But could it be more detrimental than Trump for another 4 years?
Oh man.
At this point, I would take literally anybody pretty much over Trump.
Yeah.
But at this point, also, I'm kind of like,
I think if he's still on good terms, or if he could make himself on good terms with Mos Def and have Mos Def on his squad, then maybe we can make it a deal.
Well, you're joking, but like that's some real shit. But then also, don't you have infinitely more confidence in Kim Kardashian than you do Melania Trump?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like, even though Kim Kardashian is that person in media, she has actually done stuff. Like, she's gotten people out of prison. She's met with people. She's talked with, like, what the hell has Melania done? And I'll never forget when she wore that jacket that said something like, what did it say? I don't really care, or no one really.
like,
I don't care.
Or like, I think it's I don't care or no one cares. I think.
And it's like,
how tone deaf or just intentionally selfish can you be?
Yeah. So, like, say what you want to say about Kim Kardashian. Yeah, she doesn't have any talent or anything, but in the public eye, now I don't know everything that they do behind the scenes, but in the public eye, she's done more for people than Melania has. Right? So Kanye gets elected, Kim's the first lady, she could make something happen, I guess.
Well,
maybe.
What's scary is like the bar is so low. But it used to be like back, people would just be like, let the politicians, be the politicians, but nobody trusts politicians anymore. So then where do you go? Who is the perfect candidate?
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Yeah, he would not. But I think the people that would be the right fit don't want the job.
Yeah,
that's just because if it was a money, whatever, we could go on a whole different rabbit trail. But it's like people's intentions. That position is so attractive to the wrong people sometimes because of the power that comes behind it. But to truly cause change in that position.
Well, it's kind of like I saw that meme. So there's this other subreddit that I follow called "Leopards Ate My Face," and it's basically
click the link below. No, I'm joking.
It's an interesting name, but it's
link in the bio.
In the bio,
off of a news story that basically this woman went into a leopard enclosure and then got attacked. So it's like you got attacked, but you did yourself. So the whole premise of the subreddit is, oh, well, I did this, but I didn't expect that bad outcome when that was literally the only outcome.
Yeah, like I tried to cross the highway and I got hit by a truck.
Yeah, I got hit by a semi-truck. Crazy. Yeah, so shit like that. Well, basically, one of those was like this old guy saying how he voted for Trump, but he didn't, because he was a businessman, but he doesn't like what he's doing with the country. And he's like, and everybody's like, well, no, he's running it like a business. That's what it is. He's not going to make you a boss. You're a low-line worker, and he's making money. So yeah, he's doing the right thing. He's a businessman. But I did find that post, by the way, that I was talking about with 52.8 thousand upvotes and 2.2 thousand comments. I can read it if you guys want, and it's pretty short, but it could probably give you some talking points.
Yeah, what is it?
So this one is Change My View. So the guy posted the title, Kanye West is a shill for President Trump and running to siphon off young voters from voting for Biden. He goes on to say, Kanye West is a shill for President Trump, First, he may have an eccentric take on reality, but can't honestly believe that he has a chance of winning. Second, if he truly wanted to be president, he would have started his campaign last year when he still had a chance to get on state ballots. Third, he has been an avid defender of Trump and the MAGA agenda. Just from reviewing the other threads on Reddit, there are people willing to vote for him. Generally speaking, the fan base of artists like Kanye skews young and culturally diverse. Skews young, okay, that doesn't make sense, but which are both not likely to vote for Trump. There are plenty of other reasons you can say that Kanye is running, but unless you say how my view is flawed, I will only consider those reasons as supplemental to the above concept and not as replacement for. And I mean, he's got tons of like comments and stuff
talking about it.
So, all right.
So here's the thing. I think that could absolutely be true. And that's kind of scary to me. If that is true, that's really scary. And it sucks because then I have to go back and delete all my Kanye West music.
I will never forget that day when I came into work that morning.
Bro, I couldn't do it.
Listen, it was when, okay, quick story. So Niger and I working together, right? And we shared an office. And the way that the office was set up is when you walk in, Niger's desk is right up front, right? He's
like right here.
Yeah, just like this. You would walk in and see this. It was the day after that Kanye went on and was saying that slavery's a choice. It was when, I will never forget this. Listen.
Is that when he was on TMZ? Or right before he was on TMZ?
And I had just started like listening to Kanye's music basically. And, you know, Niger, if there's one thing that I know for certain is that Niger is probably the biggest fan of Kanye that I think I've ever known in my entire life. Mm-hmm. And I walk into work and Niger's sitting at his desk. He's just sitting and he just looks so upset. And he's just like, and I'm like, what's up with your boy? And he's like, bro, I can't, man. I can't. I deleted everything. I can't deal with Kanye right now, man. I just deleted everything from.
But I had this conversation with Niger, and I said, Niger, I was like, if you're really concerned about him, you know, take it up with the big man. Well, let's pray about it. The day after I prayed about it, he gave his life to the Lord. And he's a Christian rapper now. I can't take credit for it. I'm not going to take full credit. I'm just saying that, you know, there's a higher power. You know what I mean?
Maybe David needs to get broken off a piece. I don't know.
There's just different ways. There's just different ways to
there's a
handle
higher
it.
Power, 100%. But yeah, no, and even just to deviate real quick on that, even when that happened, I understood. I feel like what maybe he was trying to say. Right? Because I felt like his sentiment wasn't that different than what Killmonger said at the end of Black Panther. Right? So like,
well, he doesn't know how he doesn't. Oh, I'm sorry to cut you off, man.
No. That was it. Like, I just feel like that's kind of what he was trying to say.
His stuff gets so jumbled, man.
Yeah.
I'll be quiet.
No, don't be quiet, man. But I do want to pivot real quick to something I said earlier, and I want to get you guys' honest take. 4 years from now, The Rock runs for president. You voting for him?
Oh man,
Let me start on.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, David. You talk over everybody. No. So I think I don't think I would. This is David's show. Yo, man, this ain't the Running Out podcast no more.
Oh no,
DT Nightly.
DT Nightly. Yo, we should do that. DT Nightly.
So I'm gonna take a step back because as much as I'd like, I just would want anybody other than current state of affairs in the office, right? But if I can step back and look at it from like a father, a person that contributes, you know, to the economy, somebody that purchases in the economy, and that man pays taxes, a husband, all of the logical kind of sound things that would keep all the stable things about my life, I would have to say no, man, because does he have a good heart? Does he mean well? I 100% believe like that would be the best person for that if that's all the job required or all the job needed. You know what I mean? But it's not. You know, like I think about this. My wife's a teacher. She's a teacher. She's almost done with her doctorate degree.
Mm.
Teachers don't make any money,
Mhm.
yet they
And
are
they should.
responsible. They are responsible for educating all of our kids.
Yep.
You know, but they scrounge around asking their parents for, hey, can you supply my classroom? Like they gotta ask for that.
Mhm.
We drop a couple $1,000s every single year to supply her classroom, and that's just one aspect. So for teachers, like you see what I'm saying. So like, there's a lot of fundamental things wrong with our country. We got billions of dollars of overhead in our military. We could skim off 10% of that. All of us, none of us here will have any sort of debt coming out of college. One, we can make school for free. You can
Mhm.
tell me the most powerful economic country in the world, for the most part, military power for the most part, we can afford school for free. We can provide better education.
Yeah.
Communities, Niger, me and you, Niger, we're from the same neck of the woods up in the tri-state. I know you got family where my family's from, and even in Atlanta, I go to Atlanta all the time. You know what I'm saying? So like, you've got neighborhoods that seriously, the aspect of the world literally is seen through television and screens. They don't
Yeah.
know what it is.
You
So I
know,
think when
fun
you have,
fact, to put it in perspective with like the military budget, do you know who has the largest navy in the world? So we do, right?
Mhm.
So our U.S. Navy is the largest force in the world. Do you know who has the second largest? The U.S. Air Force.
That's crazy.
Like,
yo,
like
I
yeah. So
thought
the
for sure
U.S.
you're
Air
about to say
Force,
Japan. Like
the
they're an
U.S.
island.
Air
no,
Force has a larger navy force than any other country in the world.
But
it makes
okay,
no
so
sense
let
to
me
me.
let me loop it back around. So Tony, why do you think somebody like, or what? Not somebody like. Why do you think The Rock wouldn't, I guess, influence change in those areas?
Why wouldn't he? Because I
Yeah.
don't
Why
think he would
wouldn't
be able
he?
to. I don't believe he would be able to, because you got a lot of people that will look at The Rock and see um, a social media icon, a
Hmm.
movie star, an athlete. You
Hmm.
know, if the job required, if the job required a good heart and a good soul, he's an A plus candidate,
Mhm.
But
top
look
notch.
what happens
And
if
it's
you have
not.
a bad heart and a dirty soul.
Mhm.
But they're bickering back and forth in the government now.
Mhm.
They're like little children right now. You got these people, you got Democrats and you got Republicans.
Mhm.
Hmm.
They'll throw up a bill and say, "Hey, go ahead and vote for this." Now, you just because you're a Democrat, so we're gonna say no. And
Exactly.
then the Republicans just eating each other up from the inside, and Trump be like, "Yo, you're out of here. You're out of
Yeah.
here. You're out of
You're fired. You're
here."
fired. You know
Yeah.
what? You're fired.
So we already have that happening now. What,
Yeah.
let's say, The Rock isn't going to run as a Republican, so he's going to run as a Democrat. Let's just say he does, for kicks and giggles, and he gets elected.
They're gonna oppose them no matter what.
It's
Oh
going
yeah,
to happen from this to
that's
this.
Mhm.
You
just
take it from Paul
bipartisan
to pay Peter.
politics.
Yeah.
That's just how it
Yeah,
is. Yeah,
Which is
you,
outdated, and we're way too big of a country for it.
Mm.
But it's the
you take
system
you
we
take
have.
from Paul to pay Peter at that point. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
why I don't think so.
See, here's my thing. I, for the reason that you said, if a good heart and a good soul, and I mean, obviously, we don't know The Rock personally, but we can only see what he does, and we can only kind of see the vibe that he gives off. Um, I would love to have somebody in the office who started literally like from nothing, who built their stuff, not somebody who had $5 million passed down to them to start their first business or anything like that. Like somebody who started from nothing and then built himself up, and then when he got to that level, didn't become a greedy bastard,
Mm.
was a good person, still helping people out, still, embracing fans and all of that. Like I'm okay with that. I would vote for The Rock before I will vote for probably any politician that I know. Because
Mhm.
I feel like you do need to be rich, right? To run
Mhm.
for president. I want you to be rich because I want you to have your own money, and I don't want you to be swayed any direction by lobbyists or
Mhm.
whoever, right? I want
Mhm.
you to be independently wealthy.
Mhm.
I want you to build that yourself so that when you get in office or you're trying to get in office, it's hard for other industries to buy you. Now, granted, personal wealth, The Rock's personal wealth is nothing compared to like the gun lobbyists in the gun industry or the pharmaceutical industry. Like it's nothing compared to that. And I mean, ultimately, you have to have somebody with a decent heart, decent soul, to not be swayed by that kind of stuff. I genuinely 100% would vote for him.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
I don't want any
here,
politician.
well, here, yeah, I think you're on the right track. But here's the thing: you don't have to be a politician to care about public opinion. That's the tough part. Is he? I mean, he does the hard. We were talking about this guy like we know him, but he does the hard stuff when it comes
Oh,
to
I
like.
know.
There you
That's
go.
my boy.
He does the hard
Yeah.
things when it comes to maybe raising his family, the workouts and stuff like that too. But it's a different thing to be hated by a lot of the country, because in that role, I think you need somebody almost very reckless but with a good heart. Like it's almost like it'd be like being
Like Kanye
a
West.
good it had to be like being a good parent. There's going to be some decisions that you're going to make that your kids are not going to understand or thank you for 10 years. Because of the trouble that we're in financially. We like this pandemic, if it's shown us anything, is that we are the most spoiled country. We like you don't go to a restaurant for 2 weeks and we're just like crying. I mean, the way that people are acting about wearing a mask is just ridiculous. So like that's the country that you have to raise and treat. It's like a spoiled child. So most of the decisions that you're making they're gonna hate. We are in so much debt. So if you think about it like a household, and you come in, you have a family meeting. The family meeting is like, hey, we are spending too much. We're gonna cut out a lot of things that you guys like, or it's gonna be moved, or whatever. You're gonna piss a lot of people off. So it had to be somebody wealthy, with a great heart, and reckless. So like, I don't know who that person
Reckless
is.
in the sense of when it's time to cut, you can cut stuff.
Just do it. We've had some
and be
people that had
okay
the
with
right.
people
We've had
who
some
don't
people
want you
that.
to cut.
There you go. We had some people that had the right, like not caring, but they not cared about the wrong things. Their heart wasn't in the right spot. So yeah, that's my take on it. I think as much as you love The Rock, I think that he has spent a lot of time on the good side of people's opinion. It would be really different for him to be on the wrong side. I feel like that's just my personal opinion.
Matt, Tim,
I mean, it
Tim
just
was
depends if he runs. What were you saying?
You were googling pictures of The Rock while we were talking.
I was seeing what his tattoos were meaning, and guys don't want to know the meanings of his tattoos. No, yeah. Well, like Ronald Reagan is one of the most famous presidents and one of the most beloved. Well, he was an actor when he first started out. So I don't think it's that. I don't think it's a ridiculous thing.
Oh, dropping knowledge.
Yeah, but that guy was trash.
Yeah, whatever. But he's still one of the most famous or beloved. They're Reagan, whatever. They say all that stuff. So I mean, it's not crazy, to think. But Arnold Schwarzenegger is a perfect example. Arnold and Ronald Reagan were both governors in California. The only reason Arnold didn't run for president was because he wasn't born in the United States. He can run for governor, but he can't become president. So I mean, we can talk policy, but nobody would know what The Rock's policy would be. It's easy to be. It's the reason The Rock is being brought up is because he's one of the most beloved guys right now. But of course he is, right? He's the fun loving jock dude that I was just watching an Instagram video of him making a tequila with avocado and yogurt. It was amazing. I wanted to try it immediately, but that's the guy that I want to see. That's kind of like the same thing with Trump. Like when Trump was just Trump and he wasn't the president, you were like, that's just Trump. He's just some kind of movie star, rich playboy. Like all the rappers wanted to hang. He was like part of the rappers thing. And so it was just cool to be Donald Trump. He was on freaking wrestling. You know what I mean? Like that's the guy that everybody liked. But then it's like, whoa, when you start to do serious stuff, then it changes. Yeah. All the stuff that was fun loving and all that stuff becomes serious. The Rock, somebody like, if you look at Donald Trump, he's got, is it a second or third wife?
Third. I think it's
third. I don't want to get, so like that wasn't a big deal when he was by himself. He was being his own man. But when he becomes president, that sort of thing gets picked apart. So somebody like, it could be The Rock, it could be Arnold Schwarzenegger, it could be anybody. But I mean, your life starts to get picked out a little bit more. So I don't want him to run for president because I like The Rock. I don't want him to get picked. I don't want to see him in a different light. I just prefer to watch his bubblegum movies.
we can argue the merits of if The Rock is fantastic, a great actor, or if he does great movies or whatever. I'd rather argue that all day because I have a strong
Phenomenal
opinion on all that.
movies. They're phenomenal movies, and I'm voting for them.
The tough part is there's an element of it that is Tim. Guys, if we could rein it in and really get serious,
DT Nightly.
DT Nightly.
Nightly.
But that's the thing. A part of this is a popularity contest. But man, it's like
isn't that all it is?
Yeah, but the most popular isn't the one that's always going to get the job done anyway. But whatever. We it's not even the front man that gets all the work done, but it's gonna be sometimes the person that you don't like, but they just have the best intentions for the country. That's really what it's gonna be. You know,
Americans do not have time to truly look up all of the policies.
Yeah, we don't make time. Because I have time. I'd be on Twitter for a long time.
That's fair. That's fair. but that's real, right?
If you put the policies in meme form, I'm an expert.
Listen,
like I sent this in a voice memo to you guys, but it's the Mike Bloomberg thing. He has enough money to put his face in front of people enough that they don't really care. If it looks great, if it's got a great graphic and all that stuff, people are. It's like branding. It basically goes back to the branding stuff, like we were talking about with Kanye marketing. It's like if you buy the $1 off toothpaste or the one that's got great branding and marketing, most of the time you're going to pick that one because you think that one's better. You know. Mm-hmm. So like with Mike Bloomberg or The Rock, 100%, me too. You know, but. It's just real life. People don't have time to worry about that stuff. They just want the flashy, most pop. That's why somebody like Donald Trump got elected because everybody just knew him.
No, he got elected.
It's deeper stuff than that too. But in
to Middle America,
I agree with that stuff. But I believe in that aspect of it, where just the fame, the fortune, that whole little thing. If you think about, if you walked up to a ballot, and if all of us. He lives in Arizona, but we all live in the Houston area. If you walked up to the ballot, and most people in Houston, you walked up to the ballot, you're going a lot of people, not you, but I think a lot of people would pick out the names that they know. They don't know anything about those people. Mm-hmm. You know, some people are going to vote down this way. Some people are going to be real honest and only vote for the one name they know, and that's it. But a lot of people are just going to go, oh, that's a cool name. I like this name. I like this name. This is the famous person I know. It's all about branding.
Mm.
Yeah, that's why political yard signs are a big deal.
I think, man, it's a risk either way, man. My thing is like I like Nigel's point. It's gonna make me think about like somebody self-made. I know we've all heard the story like how he came to be talking about The Rock, but I still think it's a risk, man. And like, you think about this. I spend damn near 3 hours a day on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Right, just like Nigel said, put those policies in meme form. You got a lot more educated people out there now.
Are you just watching? Are you looking at political policy videos, or are you just watching videos of The Rock working out when you do that?
Bro, rap videos. I'm looking at memes. I'm looking at everything I don't need to be looking at. I'm looking at stuff that I don't need to look at for almost 3 hours a day. It's sad now that Apple's tracking your movements and everything and telling you what you're doing. It's scary. I shut my Instagram down.
That's kind of how I was, but now recently I'm only looking at kettlebell workouts, and I'm like, I'm too fat and out of shape to do that.
It's obsessive, man.
Like I'll try to get to that next year. But no, I think because the vibe that The Rock gives off, the way he conducts himself publicly, and I mean, who knows how many NDAs women have signed and all of that, like who knows, right? But I just feel like clearly he's somebody who's disciplined. Clearly he's somebody with a work ethic. He started from extremely humble beginnings. And I think if you
imagine what the White House gym would look like if he were in office.
Bunch of
the Oval Office would be
the Oval Office would be the gym.
The Oval Office would be the gym, like straight up. He would be doing.
You could probably push up your way out of a certain amount of tickets.
Yeah, that would
like,
be
like lower level speeding tickets. It's like 100 push-ups.
Mm-hmm. So
Under Armour stock would skyrocket.
Under Armour?
If you begin Under Armour stock, would skyrocket.
I think his sponsorship would have to end, right? Because he can't be making money.
Yeah, true.
But he'd still be showing up at press conferences in Under Armour gear,
laced in it.
The first ever Under Armour 3-piece suit.
Yeah, He'd be
Yeah.
Man,
at the
his
gym.
suits would be.
Leave the gym
His
in
suit. You guys ever watch Ballers? His suits would be
Yeah.
so fly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
Interesting.
that's more fun. I don't want to talk. Don't ruin The Rock for me, y'all.
The pocket
The Rock
scarves
is
have
the
little
I
man.
like
holes
him
and
just
stuff
the way
on
he
them.
is.
See, like I really feel like I know we have president, vice president, but I almost think it needs to be like codes. I don't think it should be president, vice president, because really the person you want talking is The Rock, but the person you want doing the dirty work and pissing the whole country off is some really ugly, squirrely looking dude who just that's really the country wants an image like The Rock, but the things that The Rock would have to do would make you not really like him. Does that make any sense? Like I don't know how to describe it. And then people that usually speak well and place their words well and everything like that are also usually people that care about public opinion. And I don't think that sometimes a good leader will have to care about it. They're just going to be like, "This is what we're doing," bam, and whatever. So I
I
don't
don't know,
know.
but you're also expecting him. You're also expecting him to go up in there with a bunch of wolves and animals, because the people that he's going to surround himself with are savages.
Yeah,
they got to be living in that world.
Yeah, true.
To be, you know what I'm saying, and like that could change him. That could change him right there.
That's why I took my name out the ballot. I thought about it long and hard. It's just
listen, man, we got the team right here. We got the team right here.
You want to go through all of our what would our responsibilities be? What would our roles be?
We would have Tony is our lobbyist, or not a lobbyist, but he's the person that convinces. He's the whip. He's the person that convinces everybody else, right? Matt is obviously head of research. Right?
I take offense to that. I take offense to that.
Well, we didn't say head of conspiracies.
I'm not even mad.
We talk about head of research.
He's head of Reddit,
right? Tim is.
I don't even want to know.
Tim is chief of staff, because he would just line up all the meetings.
You can rewrite us some new patriotic songs.
Yeah, Tim
about
is just
about tolerance,
and I am in the shadows, getting dirty with it, cursing
What's
people.
David? What's David?
I don't think I have a job.
I thought David was the president.
Oh yeah, I could do that maybe.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
I could announce the fun stuff, and then I'll bring up Niger to like announce the tax cut, the tax increase.
Listen.
Free ice cream for everybody.
Now my man $70,000 a year. We're charging you more taxes. I don't care. I don't care. Pow.
Okay, I'll take questions now.
Yeah, that's right.
Fuck all y'all.
I don't care what you say.
Maybe it should be 5 people for each presidency.
So
they'd be too confused on who to hate. You know, it's like a whole team.
So who would be Kanye's vice president? Like who would be the perfect?
It would have
person?
to be an actual person from the government.
Nah, that's not fun. I want somebody famous.
It won't.
Kylie Jenner?
No, it's gonna be Morgan Freeman.
It would be it could be Caitlyn. It could be Caitlyn Jenner. You get the conservative side.
Nobody
Morgan
commented.
Freeman.
It's gonna be
Morgan Freeman.
He's gonna convince Morgan Freeman's gonna quit after a year, but he's gonna convince him at first.
All right. Real quick, I want to pivot to what's the chick's name? Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's her name, Matt? I know you know how to pronounce it.
Maxine Ghislaine or something like that.
Yeah,
you had it totally backwards.
Did I? Yeah, I really did. All right. Have you guys seen?
She's going down, bro.
Well, yeah, she's going down and she's gonna die. Just it's coming.
Oh no.
But have you guys seen the conspiracy where people are saying that a lot of liberal stars and big public figures are all caught up in this child sex ring and everything? Have you guys seen any of that?
Yes. Here's what's meant, Niger. Dude. Yes, I've seen it, but I think it's too deep.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's even deeper. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not downplaying sex trafficking at all, but I think it's even deeper than that, which is crazy. Like, I think it's like it's global. You know what I mean? And it's networked. I think when you pull one strand, it's gonna expose so much that it will like really it's going to, if it's all exposed, really almost like turn the world upside down. So that's why I think that they're like fighting so hard for it not to dismantle. Because what's crazy about there's two like whenever you talk about extreme wealth, it links multiple conspiracy theories, but then also when you talk about sex trafficking, it links multiple conspiracy theories. So
Mhm.
whether you just thought it was just to feed the the most disgusting part of humanity,
Mhm.
or if you thought of it deeper and you had the more like Illuminati mindset with with sacrifices and the way they treat sexual acts, both of them make sense and both of them are scary. you know so like, and for so many powerful people to be involved, it's just it's not a coincidence. It's gonna be super weird. I don't think that she'll ever get a chance to list one name.
See, I
It's a shame
have a
two
thought
bullets in
about it. Oh,
the
go
back of the
ahead,
head
Matt.
is hereditary, huh?
Hmm?
Would you?
I said it's a shame 2 bullets in the back of the head's hereditary for her.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah,
See, I feel like they took so long in arresting her because I feel like either A, they were coaching her, paying her off, coaxing her into being like, listen, we're going to arrest you. You're not going to say anything. You're going to go to jail for a little bit. You're going to go to prison for a little bit. You're going to live a good life. And then you're going to get out. And then the news cycle will have changed multiple times by then. And then you'll go off and live somewhere and you won't ever speak of this. Because it's not like the lady, like, they knew where she was. Like,
hmm
so why did
Were
it take
you
so long to arrest her?
are you talking about the first time or the second time?
This
Because the
most
first
recent
time,
time.
yeah, because the first time that plea deal was she was she had immunity or whatever.
Hmm.
So like, and that was what was super abnormal.
Did
But
you guys watch that documentary, by the way?
I
I
did. Did
didn't
you?
finish it. I didn't
Yeah.
finish it.
Oh, I did.
So you know what I'm talking about, right, man? Like she had like immunity, and like it wasn't just her. There was like multiple people that had immunity, and so they could not be tried or anything, and they were not at fault. And so when those people sued them, right? People sued all the plaintiffs got together and sued the thing because they didn't get a chance to do their thing, and then it went through. That's when
Mhm.
they actually arrested him. Because when did he die? When did Jeff? Like last year? It was just last year, right? It feels like
I
it's
think so.
like 10 years ago,
Well,
but it was
yeah,
just
this
like
year's
barely.
been really long.
Yeah, it literally feels like it's like 10. Like we're talking about something 10 years ago,
Uh-huh.
but I think it was just last
Yeah, that
year.
was very
So
recent.
it's really it's not that long,
Yeah,
even though
August
I feel
10th.
like it.
We're almost to the day.
Yeah,
August 10th,
so it's
2019.
really, when you think about like the judicial system, it's really not that long because sometimes things take a lot longer. And
Mhm.
then you talk about how coronavirus has been here since November, December, and
That's
it's
only slowed things down even more.
yeah. So I think it's pretty realistic. You'd like to think though that they're gonna make sure that nothing happens to her,
But I
right?
mean, I think if she's smart, she's got a list of laundry to let out. If she's smart, she's going to take some people down because she knows that she can.
Mhm.
Shit's a death
Like,
sentence, though, man.
Here's
They,
the deal though. If she does really die, that's how we
Mm.
know
oh yeah,
everything is for
yeah.
real.
If
That's the only way.
yep.
Or they killed her already and she's a clone.
Oh shoot!
look at David.
David,
Oh,
yeah. Oh man. Okay.
David's like, that one is that one.
It's that one. They replaced her with a lizard woman.
perhaps her twin. I don't know.
That's right. Anyway,
I don't know. The whole thing is super interesting to me. I do genuinely believe that there are people who are probably beloved in the public eye who are involved in it, and I do believe it's probably a big chunk of our government who's also involved in it, and that's extremely scary. Like,
mhm.
And
what
even
kind
the
of
good
weird
people
shit?
is scary to me because, like, you know, what I'm saying, like, the possibility of there being someone that we might all really look up to is like it's rough. Like, what was it? It was Dave Chappelle's like first Netflix special when he came back or whatever.
Mhm.
And he said, he's like, could you imagine if they came out here and said Kevin Hart raped 42 people? Like, what, man? No, like, you know, it's like,
Ah, Kev.
you know, yeah, not Kev, like, but like that
That's
would
who
be,
should be the vice president is Kevin Hart.
Oh, that
but
would make sense for all the movies that they do together.
See?
uh, that would
I
be
vote for that ticket.
Yeah, see?
I would 100% vote for that ticket.
A bunch of puppets I'm on this call with.
Me and David, the only ones that care about this, man.
Right? Yeah,
I
yeah.
care.
Tony's
I
talking about
care.
community outreach. So we're not just pretty faces, guys. That's the thing.
Oh.
The more you know.
This man said we're not just pretty faces. Oh my god.
Modesty,
Yeah.
David.
Hey, on a serious note, go Google Arizona Mills child trafficking. That's right up that's one of the malls here in Arizona, here in Phoenix. And it's the number one spot for exactly what we're talking about in the US. More
Like,
kids are abducted and taken from their families there and
kids are
shipped
abducted,
4 hours south.
girls are abducted, adult women.
Hmm.
Vanessa Gilligan, is that how you pronounce her last
Hmm.
name? I don't
Yeah,
know. But like
the
that to
army
me
lady.
is the most insane thing in the world. And it pisses me off that there are people who are so hardcore support the troops, support the troops, support the troops. And they either A, don't know anything about it, or B, they know about it and they don't care. And it's like, so you really don't support the
Bro,
troops at all.
what about the deafening silence when it came out that Russia was paying the fucking Taliban to kill American soldiers?
Yeah.
I didn't hear a single thing from a Republican. Nothing.
Do you care about these troops or do you not care about the
Someone
troops?
on Twitter said it's a good thing that they didn't pay the Taliban to kneel on the flag, because man, that would have just been a
Everybody
travesty.
would have been up in arms then. It blows my mind, and I think we all support the troops. Obviously, like they don't make the policy, and they don't decide where they go. They just have to go, right? They signed up for whatever reason, right? To fight, to defend, to do whatever, right? And they go do it all across the world, and that's just normal people from like normal neighborhoods, right? So if you're gonna support them, you need to support all of them. You can't just support the Navy SEALs because they're cool. You can't just support the Marines because they're cool. No, you have to support every single person that puts on the uniform and does anything in the military. Like support the troops isn't, oh, I only support combat troops. Like, it doesn't work like that. It's all of them. So the fact that people on the right have been so quiet about it is infuriating to me. I really do not understand it. I have deleted most people on the right from all my social media, so I can't truly ask anybody.
I'm still adding them just so I can argue with them.
It pisses me off too much, but you know what? I need to do an episode with somebody on the right and try not to punch a hole through my laptop. Because I really want to know what's the thought process when you post or you say or you speak out about one thing but not something else that's so incredibly sad and horrible. Like, I don't get it.
Just the other day had a like 2-hour long conversation. So it was very slow at work one day with one of my clients that I haven't seen since the pandemic and all that. And he and I had a conversation about quite literally everything going on. And he and I had very different views. He is former military, older white guy, right? He served like 27 years as a police officer. He's retired now. Just to give you an idea of his frame of reference. And he is very, very, he likes what Trump's doing. And, some of the responses that I would get from him, I was kind of like, oh. And like I wasn't having the conversation, obviously, to like change his mind or anything, because that's just not going to happen. But I did bring up or he brought up the Russia thing, right, with the killing of the troops, and he's like, they've already confirmed that was like fake. And I'm like, who said that? Because that I don't know what news outlet is reporting that.
OAN,
right? And so but basically at the end of the day, I was just telling him, I said at the unless we're citing sources, and then even in the day and age that we're in with technology and just everything so readily available, anyone could say, oh no, that's not a credible source. Like literally any argument, you can go to bat with some of these amazing sources that you have, and anyone that's arguing against you can just say, well, no, I don't trust that source.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
That's crazy.
So many people nowadays, they're literally a product of how they were raised. So the folks was one
Mhm.
way, they thought one way, they believe one thing, and this person now believes that same thing because they just were taught that. They never were taught to pick up a book or go to Reddit and research stuff.
And I get that. I understand that, but I guess I struggle a lot with how do you, even if you are raised that way, how do you look at a case like
I
Vanessa's
was
case
raised that way, but
and say, "Oh, this doesn't matter." Or how can you fly an American flag, celebrate 4th of July, celebrate Veterans Day, Memorial Day, all of that, and then you have this girl who's a young girl in the military who is missing, nobody's talking about it, and then her remains are found.
Mm.
Like, do you really care about the troops, or do you only care about some troops? And how can you only care about some? Like,
I don't
even
care
if
about
you
that
are
3-day
raised
weekend.
that way, yeah,
Mm.
right, right. You really don't care. You don't care about veterans or anything like that. And that's what's so crazy to me. That's what makes me so upset. Is you see people, I support the troops. I support the troops. Well, what about this poor girl and her family? Like, what? It makes no sense to me.
Yeah. I it comes down to there's like a fear of what would you call it? Like fundamental like symbols
Mhm.
being brought down. So I think there's a fear of approaching that because it has to do with it was probably internal, well probably it was internal. So to have to admit that there's flaws within it is something that they're not willing to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
They don't want the
But
heat
that
from their people.
yeah, that's such a deeper conversation because that's really the issue with everything that people are upset about is just a lack of owning up to it. It's
Mhm.
so simple sometimes, just to say that's messed up or we own that or that was jacked up and
Well,
then just
we
moving
also
forward from that.
haven't normalized saying, "Oh, you know what? I think I'm gonna change the way I think because I was presented with new information."
Uh-huh.
That's
Yeah.
not normal. That's
Yeah.
that totally no. You're going to the grave with what you believe in some of these places.
Yep.
So that's just how it's gonna be. Like he and I even had a long discussion. We were talking about the Confederate monuments, and I was like, the Confederacy only lasted 5 years, so I don't understand what the big deal is.
What heritage?
Yeah, and he said,
Outcast has lasted longer than the
yeah.
Confederacy lasted.
Well, he's like, I mean, there are people living today that
I saw that.
that's their great grandparents that they fought for, and I'm like, okay, so I said, what does having the monument there do? And he says, well, because you're essentially just erasing history, and I'm like, well, no, because the
Mhm.
Holocaust still happened, but there's no
Mhm.
statues of Hitler. I said, they have
Exactly.
a museum for that. I was
I
like,
don't
if you go,
understand how it makes sense to erect statues of treasonous heroes
right,
and
that
have it
literally
up. Like, what?
speaking of supporting our troops, how do you support the Confederacy, which was quite literally the biggest group of traitors that this country has ever seen in history? Like, oh, and his argument too was that he's like, well, the United States wasn't like they weren't going against the United States; it was the Union, and then it was. And I'm like, 1776 established the United States, like July 4th, 1776. Like that's I was like, so I mean, I didn't argue with him, but I was like, yeah, but
Should have.
it was they definitely fought against the United States and the fucking president of the United States. I was like, that's they were traitors.
I don't know. It really boggles my mind. And I don't, sometimes, actually, no, not sometimes, all the time here recently, I have felt like more of a patriot than anybody else because I feel like how can you be a patriot when you don't know the true history or not the true, but the total history
Yeah,
of
you
your
know something
country,
history.
right?
Mhm.
You willingly admit things,
Mhm.
right? You don't support the troops across the board, right? You don't support equality across the board, all the things that America are supposed to be built on. And it's like, I just don't know what some of these people are thinking. And like I said, I have literally deleted everybody because I just can't do it. And it makes no sense to me. I don't know, it's mind
That's why it's gonna
boggling
be
to me.
hard to get someone on this on a podcast with you, you could just delete everybody.
I don't know. I'm gonna be sitting here, and I don't think I could do it. I don't think I'm in the space, the mental space, to be able to have that conversation and not want to punch.
I literally had a family member message me on Facebook, and I didn't open them because I have notifications turned off for Facebook, but I finally opened it, and it was a video basically, and it was like this. It's like a propaganda video essentially, because this particular family members are Trump supporters, talking about. I kind of like skipped through most of the video, but it was talking about like the pandemic. It was basically another pandemic video, right? But even before I clicked on it, that video was flagged by Facebook for spreading misinformation. And like, I don't think they knew that when they sent it to me, but I literally
probably knew. They probably were like, "Oh, Facebook is liberal."
Right. Yeah. But I was like, so the things that I saw in this video have already been they're completely unsubstantiated, and it's just conjecture. I said, there's nothing backing up any of these claims. And Facebook has already deemed this video to be like false information. And they haven't responded. And this was like a week ago. And I still haven't gotten a response from that friend of ours that we used to have that we worked with at, where I sent that very long history lesson. He still hasn't responded.
Too many words to
I might need to follow up with him.
Too many words.
You know what? Maybe he's reading that book I told him to read, The Rise of the Third Reich. He's probably getting through that, and then he's going to get back to me.
That's it. That's probably exactly it. But I don't know, man. It doesn't. I don't know. Doesn't make any sense. Tim, what you thinking down there? You're really quiet. I feel like I can see the gears turning for you.
I thought he was wearing a MAGA hat for a second.
in the darkness.
The whole time.
The whole time they just pulls it down. And it's like, you mother.
Surprise, you're already having the conversation. I don't know, y'all. It's complicated, right? Because I don't even know what the point of our subject was. We're talking about a bunch of different things that are kind of all going on at the same time. But, like we've got a complicated...
I'm sorry, I'll be a better host next time.
No, it's not a bad thing. It's just, like America. I know. This is what happens when, David, you don't lead us through your show here. America's complicated, right? And I think a lot of people just want to ignore that fact, and it's, we were talking about the military. That's how we kind of got started on it. I think you and we went out to coffee one time. We ate at that down house. I talked about American privilege a lot because I have a lot of European family. Like the majority of, I would say about 80% of my actual relatives do not live in America. So I've learned a lot about American privilege in a general sense. And American privilege is the privilege of not having to know, not having to look underneath what's going on, underneath America, or, in America, we have several, whether it's races or histories or whatever, that are just swept under the rug. Well, even in America, there's many countries that are like, we sweep, look at anything in our rooms that are made in another country, go to the sweatshops or wherever that, there's just so many different levels to it. So it's super complicated, to think like, the monuments or the Confederacy or all that stuff. The reason why it's so complicated is it's so nuanced, but a lot of those men, when they came back out of the Confederacy, what do? They became politicians.
Yeah.
And so that same stuff continued to bleed, and it still continues to thread through our society. So American privilege is being able to just ignore that stuff and say it's America. So like for veterans, my dad was a veteran. He started a 501c3, and he spent $2 million. He got $2 million worth of grants from, I think it was the tail end of George Bush and maybe the first end of Obama. But he would go and give that money to, actual veterans, and so when it's face to face, it's complicated. I think part of that thing why people weren't as outraged, it's like, number one, I think it's part of the news cycle. Sometimes things just catch fire and they're viral and people get upset in that. But who do you get mad at in that situation? Do people uprise against the military? It's complicated, so I think I get it. I get why it's not, and I get why it is, and I get why it should be. And it's always a certain type of people that are getting upset about certain type of things,
Yeah.
So I think that was part of your point earlier. I don't know, man. It's just heavy, and we could just get deep into a lot of different things. But
Yeah.
I think what matters is good conversations like what's going on right now. I think that's what helps.
It's okay.
Go ahead.
And sorry, I keep
David,
on
it's
cutting
not your show, David.
It is not. It is not. I'm just I'm rude. But I think that what people don't understand is that it's okay to like have like problems with your country, because if you truly love something, you want it to be better.
Mhm.
That's the thing. And I think that sometimes if you bring up a gripe or something that is not right, people automatically think that you're not grateful. Does that make
Right.
sense?
Yeah.
So I personally don't choose to. I wouldn't choose to live in another country, but I want this country to be better.
Yeah.
And I still have some form of hope. And that's the difference, is that it's okay to say that was messed up what happened in the past, and or
Mhm.
what's going on in the present moment is horrible, but still to believe that it can be better. And I think that's where the disconnect is. Just because you say you love your country doesn't mean you have to ignore all the things that we've done in the past that are super horrible, or the things that are going wrong right now.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, I
That
got two things. Go
Go
ahead,
ahead.
Tim. Go ahead.
Well, I
No,
was
Tim, please.
just going to say that kind of brings it all back around, like to the Rock, to the Confederacy, to all that stuff. These were complicated men, and it's what a lot of Americans don't want to deal with, is that those, like somebody like George Washington or a lot of those guys, like they were bad men, or did really bad things, but also had those things where we benefit from today as Americans.
Mhm.
They founded this country, but it was only for a certain amount of people, and so that's what people don't really want to talk about. They just want to talk about, this person is that he's great, so how dare you talk? No, that's your point, right? And so it kind of, could The Rock become the next George? It's not going to be as extreme as George Washington, and people owning slaves and all that stuff, but that's what I'm saying. It's super dark and it's super twisted, and people just don't want to talk about it because it's too hard. It's too tough
Yeah.
for them.
Yeah.
And that's what's great about this. It's almost like we're going through a new enlightenment in America, right? It's almost like a new renaissance, that people are truly seeing the true America
Mhm.
in front of their face because of video.
Yeah.
That's a whole new thing. I mean, it's from George Floyd to monuments going down to a president that is right there every day telling you exactly what's on his mind, versus, you didn't have that with George Washington. So you have this
Hell, we didn't even
picture.
really have it, honestly, what, 15 years ago?
When we grew up,
Yeah.
I posted that thing the other day about we're the last
Yeah.
true like millennial group or
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
but
The
that's
bridge.
true.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's super, super true. Go ahead, Tony. I'm sorry. I'm just rambling, but I agree with everything that y'all are saying.
MAGA. But I think sorry, Tim.
Stupid.
No, listen. Two things. David, there's a reaction button there where you can raise your hand if you want to talk.
oh dang!
One. That's the first thing. That's the first thing. This ain't DT
This
night.
man
We'll
said he
say
had
that for another
two
day.
things, and one of them he roasted David.
He saved that.
Listen.
This is why he didn't have anything important to say. He just wanted to say that. He was like, "Go ahead,
No,
Tim.
no.
Tim has actually something to substance."
Listen, I'm just here for the likes, man. I'm just here for the likes. No, but listen. The second thing is like is action. No, I'm serious. This is very serious. This part is action. Like not raising hands and cutting people off. I'm talking about if you have an opinion, that is a luxury of being in this country, is you can actually speak up and say something.
Yeah.
So like where my frustration comes from is like, as people, oh, I support Black Lives Matter, but you ain't out there protesting. I'm not saying you have to. I'm not saying you. No, I am saying you have to. You should be out there. If you truly believe in something, you really want something to be better, you will go to the ends of the world to make sure that it's the best possible outcome for you, right? Or the best possible outcome for it. So if there's protests, are you protesting? And are you donating? Are you supporting? And this is just Black Lives Matter. I'm Latin American, you guys know. I'm
Yeah, it
Puerto
could be
Rican
a
and
bunch of
Peruvian.
different things.
There's a lot of things,
I
man.
thought he was light skinned.
No, listen, you gotta raise your hand.
I thought,
You
hey,
better raise
hey,
your hand.
Tony, are you Cambodian?
Think bottom. No.
Trip home?
I thought he was yellow boned this whole time.
No. That's Matt down here. That's Matt. Matt's underneath me right now. That's Matt. Listen.
But go ahead.
I'm trying to say something serious though. You gotta take action. The conversation that Matt had with one of his clients, I would have sacrificed that client just to have a real conversation with him and try to sway him, or just let him know, like, yo, you got a dated way of thinking. It's skewed, and I'm not even asking I'm not even asking for you to change your mind right here, right now, like I'm trying to save you or nothing like that. I'm just asking you to see maybe the other side of the pillow.
Yeah,
it is colder. You know that, right? Like there is a different dynamic to what you're thinking about. And if your biggest thing is like, oh, that's history, that's heritage. Heritage, what? So let's talk about heritage. You got hundreds of years of slavery, but yet African Americans in this country get the privilege of having 1 month out of the year. That shit makes no sense. Yeah. That's why I support teachers getting more money so that we can get these kids taught up,
get them educated the right way.
Exactly.
It's true, man.
You know what?
Latin History
Month is October. What? Like that makes no sense. We got 1 month.
Yeah, it's all American history, honestly.
Yeah, and a chapter out of a history book that's 30 years old.
Yeah,
that's my thing. That's my piece.
Cool. Anybody else got anything?
Well, I was just gonna say, do you guys think that one of the Rock's policies would be a Cambodian History Month?
I hope so. I hope so.
Thick bottoms.
Really? All right, so this was episode 14. I appreciate David. I appreciate Tim,
where did Matt go?
Tony. I appreciate Matt. I appreciate all you guys joining me for this. Taking time out of your day. There you go. Taking time out of your day. I know you guys all have stuff going on. I just want to let you guys know I do appreciate you. And so yeah, this has been episode 14. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Yeezus take the wheel.
That's right.
Yeezus take the wheel.
2020.
Yeezus take the wheel.
Later, guys. Y'all have a great night.